Welcome to Codes of Harmony. This is going to be the Magic of Scars part 2. You're welcome to go check out the last live I did, which heavily focused on talking about this scar right here, which I fondly call my lightning bolt, my lightning strike. In reference to the Tower card. So after having like 2 weeks of having messages about water, including a series of very intense prophetic channeling around the floods that have occurred in the last month. Anyways, I'm not going to be going, I don't want to cover everything that I'm just going to be going straight into the card that came up at the end of the first part of this video. I almost said movie. Interesting. The Magic of Scars, part 1. Please go check out that video because I'm just like wanting to jump straight into this, which is the card that came out. The one and only card that came out with yesterday. Ooh. Hello, dear one. I acknowledge your ancestors, my ancestors, and the ancestors of the ground on which we stand. I light this candle to call in protection. And I don't even know how much you can see exactly because I have another candle holding up my phone. But the Kraken is what came out. So I think it's very interesting that when I was channeling and being drawn to talk about the magic of scars, which is definitely, as I'm still growing out my friend, as you can see, the magic of scars is definitely talking about the magic and the gifts that are unlocked within and unearthed is the term that keeps coming, being the channeled word that keeps coming through to me. Unearthed. And I start thinking about that in a few different ways because you can unearth something, you can pull something up from the ground. But then I also have been thinking about my connection, everybody's connection off Earth and the, source, connection to source, not to mention other planetary bodies. So that's interesting. Yeah, unearthing that maybe we are all collectively unearthing in terms of not being so restricted in the mind by the physical earth that we're part of and beginning to be able to see ourselves as more than just earthlings. Very deep unearthing is taking place. You would have felt this particularly with all of the powerful Virgo energy that we've been moving through. And I just before I stopped the first part of this video, I was reading from this, the Deep, Dark and Dangerous Oracle by Stacey DeMarco, illustrations by Kinga Pritzky. Some cold country names that, like, when I see them written, I find them very hard to translate, but when I hear them spoken, I can replicate. That could be a message for you. What did I get up to? So I just started talking about the Norse sailors. The Norse sailors, not just the ancient ones, but right up into the 19th century, reported sightings of a great beast of the ocean with a cephalopod shape, destroying their boats and even buildings on the shorelines of islands during great storms. This creature was referred to as the Kraken, Kraken, and was greatly feared because it could rise out of the deepest oceans without warning. This is what's happening for a lot of people on a spiritual level, on a egoic level, on a metaphoric level, as well as on a real physical, like the physical feelings of being in this life, as these things are surfacing collectively. No one knew when or where the Kraken would strike. This gigantic sea monster was the bane of sea travellers and fisher folk from the coast of Greenland, the North Atlantic. My eyes are green. Funny, I'm seeing. That's really interesting. So there's this kind of scale print that's in the background of the book. I don't know if you can see it very well there. It's incredibly light, like super, super light. And just for a minute there, I saw the scales moving. North Atlantic, and that was when I said the bane of the sea travellers and fisher folk from the coast of Greenland, the North Atlantic, and right through the Scandinavian waters. That's when I saw the scales moving. Some sailors were so afraid of it that they wouldn't even utter the word Kraken without the fear of this, without the fear that this would indeed summon it. In the Icelandic saga Ova Odr, it mentions the Hafgafa, which is the Kraken. It says, "Now I will tell you that there are two sea monsters. One is called Hafgafa, sea mist. Another, Linkbakr, Linbagar, heatherback. The Linbagar," and of course, please excuse any pronunciations, is the largest whale in the world. But the Hafgafa is the largest monster in the sea. It is the nature of this creature to swallow men and ships, drag them down with its arms and even whales and everything else within reach. It stays submerged for days, then rears its head and nostrils above the surface, and stays that way at least until the change of the tide. The appearance of the Kraken resembled a giant squid with huge suckers and tentacles were often described, so it is thought that perhaps sightings were indeed just that, huge giant squids. Some descriptions, though, included spikes on the arms and huge teeth, so not quite what a usual giant squid would look like. The Kraken reflected the unfathomable and wild nature of the sea and its unpredictability. Far out. The plant companion is the fir tree, and the crystal companion is olivine, which is actually a crystal I don't actually know of. So that's really interesting. I love finding out about new gemstones, rocks, crystals, and minerals. I mean, new to me. So wow, okay. So much of what I've just read connects to a lot of the messages that I've been channeling here in this portal. So much connect to this protected space, this clear, divine, guided space. Yeah, so many of them link into a lot of the messages that I've channeled, and a lot of this ongoing conversation around tectonic plate shifting, particularly with a focus on the African plate shifting, which is unearthing. So it's about unearthing, and they were talking about a clear message that came through to me a few weeks ago was that there are things taking place under the surface, underground, that are affecting and controlling the water on the surface. So when we talk about water symbolically in tarot, we talk about obviously water sign energy. We talk about that which is unseen. We also talk about emotions, intuition. It's fascinating also that they wanted me to talk so much about my lightning bolt and about the magic within that particular scar. So this is also bringing to mind the kind of idea of having war stories, having battle tales, having lived experiences that make you who you are, and they are so much on show at the moment, and the ones that can't be seen, the ones that are invisible, the ones that are below the surface are going to be surfacing, and they'll be surfacing like the Kraken without warning, at the times you least expect it, in situations and with people you least expect it. There's been a heavy focus on the importance of spiritual protection, of boundaries, also about who's on the shore of the islands, who's in the hull of the ship, who is in places that they have not chosen to be. And what is that going to mean when the Kraken surface? What is that going to mean when their inner scars suddenly surface? Particularly people who from the outside are viewed a very particular way. Assumptions made about their physical form, about their life, about their status, all that matrix stuff. Obviously, the physical form is also is a sacred place and is part of the being that you are. Wow, there's just so much coming in. It's hard to know exactly in this moment how much of that to share, just like the mystery itself. And I've been told by some people sometimes that I can be a bit of a mystery myself. I would like now to pull on top of the Kraken to get a little bit more clarification from the Tree Witch's Oracle, which has features different writers throughout time. Getting Audre Lorde over and over again. Audre Lorde, justice. But if we look at this image, you can see, and for those of you who are seeing impaired, I will describe it. Audre Lorde stands in a body of water. On either side of her floating in the water, there is a large eye. So on either side, there's an eye. There seems to be a small figure floating in the water as well. Two hands floating in the water, and she's holding a sword and what looks to me like a very sad owl or some kind of bird of that type. And justice. Speaking of justice, please give me two in divine guides for most beneficial for everyone involved. Oh, wait, yeah. Okay. Here we go. So I had 3 cards come out. Okay, and and then we have the boar, the wild pig, the ghost, and I. Which is also interesting because I mentioned the eyes on either side of Audre Lorde, the eyes that are in the water. So the water is holding the justice. The water, so the shifts that are taking place underneath the surface, within you, within the whole collective, as well as on a physical Mother Earth to Gaia. Those things shifting are kind of awe-inspiring horror of human nature. and of the things that we do to each other, and the things that we survive, and the things that we move through, and the things that we are tempted by. And the water that is moving on the surface of you, of the collective, of the planet, is the justice, is the karma. It is layered with karma. Everyone has to clear their karma at this time. It just has to be that way. And if you don't, then it will be cleared for you, or you may not be here. You may not be here. As heavy a thing to say as that may seem. Wow. Okay, so the magic of scars. The magic of scars, the mystery of the Kraken, the deep sea creature underneath, the wildness of the sea. The sea can take you places. The sea also connects us all. The sea is what connects different the sea is what connects up the different bodies of land, the different countries, the different territories, the different, well, they're territories as far as we've claimed them to be, as colonizers, invaders of the past have claimed them to be. Those territories are actually different under the sea. Those territories and the song lines that connect us run deep, deep under the ocean. So it's also talking about trauma that connects you to others, trauma that connects you to your past, trauma that makes it difficult for you to move forward. Feeling a lot of activation in my root chakra, in my solar plexus. And I feel like I'm on a boat. So, the ocean can take us places. The sea can take us places. But during that journey from one country to another, from one ocean to another, you have no idea what will emerge from the sea. You have no idea what will come out within you. You have no idea what dark, demonic forces you are capable of embodying. And there are a lot of people walking around in this reality at this time who are walking entities, who are taken over from energies that they invited and submitted to. That is going to be a heavy karmic justice that needs to be paid, that will be paid. And part of the, the laws of the sea were about being true to your word, were about, karma, a lot of stuff about karma. So who you are and how valiant you are would be directly affect your journey, whether you made it to the other shore, whether there was a huge storm that came along, whether there was a tide that took you off course, whether there was a ship that was not telling you the truth about who they are. All of everything that the Kraken represents is also about humanity's fear of nature and fear of their own scars, their own trauma, their own unearthed darkness, their own moments of weakness, moments of being tempted, moments of inviting in energies that they knew they shouldn't have. Greed needs to be just obliterated from the surface of the earth. What a dream. So this also speaks of the people, places, situations that you have turned into a ghost in your mind, you know, like that term ghosted, that term that I feel is people use it without really thinking about it, about the clearing the throat chakra. Thank you. About the spiritual beings that may take offense to the casual use of the term ghosting all the time. So when we do use that, we why are they wanting me to say this? Why? Okay, ghosting. The things and situations that you've tried to put out of your mind, the things and situations that are the undercurrent of your actions, the undercurrent of what changes the tide in your mood, in your emotions, in your expression, not only to others, but to the higher ups, to source, to divine, to the animals and creatures around you, to your beloved pets who know and understand you and can read you better than most of your friends, to, you know, like, sorry, Miss Jackson, the Outcasts, one of the all-time greatest musicians of all time, if you ask me. Both of them collectively together, that you can plan a pretty picnic. You know, it's that old expression of like, you can have a plan for how something's going to go. You can decide that you're going to have a picnic and it's going to be beautiful, and it's going to be this location you really like, and you're going to make this particular food, and you're going to have this particular blanket, and then you wake up and it's storming, and it's absolutely chaotically storming, like thunderbolts, electric, torrential rain. And so it's like, no matter how much planning you did, how much human organization went on between you and the other attendees of the picnic, Mother Nature is always going to have the final say. Your true nature, your core soul being, will always have the final say, regardless of what your ego wants, regardless of what your human mind says, regardless of what the energies around you are pushing onto you. Which is why when people allow entities to take them over, such as greed, corruption, you know, enjoying other people's pain, when people choose that, that is a deal that the true core of you, the true being of you, the the true nature of you, that is a deal being done with that being, not with the surface, not with everything that we're seeing on the surface, not the performance, not the chaos, not the distraction, not the cloud of smoke like a real bad magician in an RSL club. What is happening when you allow yourself to be taken over by those energies, entities, and forces is you are risking your soul. You're risking not making it to the other shore. You're risking a deep, deep swim with the biggest monster of the sea. This could just be a metaphor, of course. I really hope nobody is on a boat right now watching this video. If so, batten down the hatches. The wild boar as well, because, you know, like particularly where I am in so-called Australia, we say wild pig. That's the term that we use. And always wild. We always say wild in front of it because this is such a depressingly agriculturally farmed country. So it's interesting to me that that's coming up with this wildness of the sea creature, of the Kraken, of the true nature, of the shame will sit with the Kraken. Your shame can fester on deep, deep underneath. Unhealed trauma, unattended to anger, unexpressed anger. A lot of that is coming out in the collective at the moment, and it's coming out like this in ways that you don't expect, and it's snap just out. And then after, when the tears come, when the heart space opens, that is when the true justice of the water is allowed to flow within and without and between you and the other shores, the other ships, the other creatures. And the I, as we discussed before, sits in the water, in the intuition, in the third eye. And under the entire oracle deck sits Elixir. Which is kind of, could be seen as a spirit, as a form of alcohol, or anything that can be addictive, anything that can be, that you can overconsume, anything that can take you over. Also speaks of magic and potions and alchemy. True alchemy is the mixture of dark and light, is allowing the Kraken to swim freely in the ocean and know that you have done the right thing within yourself, between you and Source, nobody else. That is your protection across the seas. That is your protection on your journey. That is what will please the gods of the sea, as the Vikings would say. It's coming to mind that I'm seeing the image and a rolled up old scroll that has the story of the albatross. Now, you don't know the story of the albatross, go and look up symbolism of the albatross, which speaks about having an albatross Albatross is what leads you to land, will lead you to shore. So no matter how hungry you are, how desperate you are, you should never shoot the albatross. You should never kill an albatross. Because they're leading you to shore. Yeah? Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Okay. Alright, well, just before I wrap it up, I just want to reiterate how your scars, your wounds, whether they are invisible or visible, noticeable or not noticeable, expressed or not expressed, they are demanding to be seen by you. They're demanding and deserving to be acknowledged by you and embraced by you. And for you to know that you are truly, truly unique, and that is a fucking beautiful thing. And you are your scars are beautiful. Your scars are so intricate to who you are, the shape of you as a singing bowl, the frequency that only you can make, the light that only you can shine. And they are made of that alchemy. They are made of that mix of deep, deep, dark mystery within the ocean and bright, bright illumination above the surface. I'll just close it off by pulling one tarot card from the Squid Cake Tarot. Please give me clear and divine guidance to be most beneficial for everyone involved. Everybody, all the future viewers to see this video. They're just informing me that a lot more is going to surface. So if you also pat yourself on the back for the work that you've done during Virgo season. Of course, okay, of course, Scorpio season. I have to remind myself that there are a number of people who find it hard to look into the darkness and get very afraid of some of the stuff around, times like Halloween, which is actually a time to honor the darkness and that which you fear. Embrace your fears. Be proud of your fears because they come from very real places and very real experiences, lived experiences, even ones that you don't necessarily remember because they come from other times, other timelines, other lives. And we have the hangman, but it's in reverse. We're coming out of this position. We're coming out of a period of time of trying to see things anew. Outside, they want you to turn back up the right way and look within. Look deep, deep within. And look with respect, with awe, with pride in everything that you have survived, everything you've been through, even when you weren't completely in the right, even when you shouldn't have been in that place, even when you may not have been acting from a place of highest good. Because that's also a lesson. Everyone's boundaries are your boundaries next year are going to be nothing like the boundaries you have had for your entire life. They will be nothing the same. For some of you, that will be a good thing. For others, you're really going to have to work hard at constantly checking in with yourself about those boundaries, constantly checking in with yourself about those fears. Obviously, when I say constantly, I mean in a way that's like healthy and balanced. But yeah, there's definitely, it's game time. It is game time because everything that has happened under the surface for so long is all coming out. We then have the Ace of Wands, new beginning in creation, in imagination, fire sign energy, and wow. Okay, so wow. And then there's the Ace of Cups. So a new beginning in creation, inspiration, expression, magic, and a new beginning in emotions, heart space, love, the capacity to love yourself, to love your scars, to love everything that you have been through, even the things that, you don't have to love the people, the places or the situation that have put you through that. But you can love the scar that remains. And under the tarot deck, of course, the Wheel of Fortune. It's going to be a big ride. So buckle up, baby. Lots of love from Codes of Harmony.